Hey everybody, welcome back to Rebootleggers. This is a comedy podcast where we create illegal underground reboots here in the bowels of...
The Bootatorium.
Like, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm Scott Owen.
I'm Frank Serra.
And Frank... Wait, I almost did the sign-off.
You're falling apart. Boy, do I love chocolate bars.
But this week we're doing a beloved classic for the whole world, really. I was going to say all Americans, but it's everybody. And we're talking about candy, little people, children, deception,
betrayal,
unsafe working conditions, and
frankly, some elements of body horror.
A little bit, yeah. We're talking Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the 1971 classic adaptation of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. It's a good movie, and here's what I'm looking at the info for this movie right now, and my eyes landed on this piece of information, which really struck me. It was produced by the Quaker Oats Company.
What?
The Quaker Oats Company and Walper Pictures produced Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and I don't understand why. Like, what did Quaker Oats have? Did they own candies?
Quaker Oats created a confections subsidiary, which was then sold to Nestle for the film. They literally made the movie because they were going to make Wonka bars and sell them.
Oh, that's a bummer. And then they sold it to Nestle. After the movie, I assume.
After the movie, yeah.
Now, I do wish that we still called candy confections because that makes them sound so much cooler and, like, classier. I don't know. Confections just sounds like it would taste a lot better than candy. It sounds like
science instead of...
Confection sounds like it would taste really good.
Instead of like, you're out on the street and you're like, oh, there's a candy bar. It's just on the road. I'll eat it.
There's a sweet confection.
You like ordered it and got it in the mail.
Yeah, and it tastes delicious. Quaker Oats Company is owned by PepsiCo since 2001. Man, they got their hands in all the pies. But, okay, so let's talk about our original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, starring international treasure Gene Wilder. May he...
R.I.P.
R.I.P. So you got small town, poor boy, Charlie Bucket.
Bubba Bucket!
Dude's name is Bucket.
I would have destroyed this child as a child. Bucket? Your last name is Bucket?
And I mean, I was bullied as a child, and even I would bully this child.
Yeah, there's a hierarchy.
Disclaimer: don't
People
bully.
Whose names are objects that can be filled with things is pretty low.
We do need to disclaim: do not bullying is bad. Do not bully.
Bullying is bad. Would have destroyed this child.
Reboot. So on Charlie passes by Charlie Bucket,
Joe.
Charlie Bucket and his grandpa Joe, who is Charlie's best friend, and his one grandpa, who he has two sets of grandparents, and they are all sick in a comically large bed. And Grandpa Joe is like,
he's the young spry one.
He's not, but he's also sick. He just gets better in a second. Yeah. But he and Charlie are both like they love the idea of Willy Wonka in the factory, and I think Grandpa Joe might have used to work there or something. But so Charlie's walking past the factory one day, some rando tells him like nobody ever goes in, nobody ever comes out, just the candy comes out. Like Wonka is super secretive. He moved his factory from where it used to be because he locked the factory.
There were competitors.
Yeah, other competitors were always trying to send spies in to steal his recipes. So Wonka disappeared, and then
donk.
Good what?
The good donk.
The good donk. So Wonka disappears. The factory's like dormant for 3 years, and then suddenly it just starts producing candy again. And then the next day after it starts producing, it's like, I don't know how this news gets out because Wonka doesn't like go on the news. Does he?
It's just on the news. Yeah, we're not really worried about that.
Yeah, there's 5 golden tickets hidden in chocolate Wonka bars.
Yeah. And you got to just start buying. People just start buying thousands and thousands of them. Giant corporations are buying like millions of chocolate bars.
Well, and the prize is if you get a ticket in if you find a candy bar with a ticket in it, you get to go on a factory tour, and then you get a lifetime supply of chocolate. And
well, 2-for-1 action. So like 3 rich kids, they basically like their parents buy enough chocolate that they get it, and then Charlie is Poe, and he's like, I have one last hay penny, and instead of buying a meal for my family, I'm going to buy this chocolate bar.
Well, what happens is he like
because then he buys the chocolate bar.
So 4 tickets are found, and then a 5th ticket is found, and he's like, well, damn, the contest is over. And then he gets that money somehow. It's like in a sewer. I forget. He just like finds money randomly.
He finds a hay penny in the street. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he buys a different bar. Like the guy convinces him to buy a Scrumdiddlyumptious bar, which is Wonka made, but it's not a Wonka bar. And then he has change, and the guy's like, "Oh, you've got enough to buy a Wonka bar," and he's like, "Oh, I'll do that." And then he overhears somebody saying like, "Did you hear that last ticket was a fake?" And then he's like, "Oh shit,
it was a phony."
And he opens his Wonka bar, and bam. There's that golden ticket.
Boom, golden ticket. And then he gets to bring his one grandpa. He chooses the grandpa, but it's Grandpa Joe, the best grandpa of them.
Yeah, he tells Grandpa Joe. Grandpa Joe immediately
Grandpa Joe gets out of bed
better.
And does like a full 60-second like tap dance routine that confuses me to this day.
He like instantly gets better. And here's the thing. Was this common back in this, like, I don't know when this movie's supposed to take place. I think it's like
I don't think any part of this was common.
Well, I think I've seen it in other things where it's like old people all sharing a bed being sick, and that just seems like it sounds horrible. Maybe it was just like
it's just terrible.
Ugh,
just awful.
Everything about that situation.
Charlie and Grandpa Joe leave the rest of their terrible relatives behind, and they go on this terrible nightmare tour. And I don't think we need to rehash the entire tour.
No, but the takeaways are, so as they go through the tour,
the children are bad or naughty or selfish.
Yeah, he's like, here's where the things happen, and then on each part of the tour, each kid has a different like personality flaw that they succumb to and don't listen to the rules, and then they get like something bad happens to them. Willy clearly doesn't care. Oompa Loompas sing a song. Also, there's Oompa Loompas in it.
Oh yeah, bruh.
So one by one, the kids get eliminated. Charlie wins the contest because it turns out there's a contest within the contest. Like, it's not just So then Willy says, "You're the best boy. You get to win my factory." Now
it's pretty weird though, because he says like, "You win my factory right now because I'm leaving forever." He like immediately he's like, "All right, you now own the Wonka factory."
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go.
Oh, I didn't know he was gonna go. I thought he was like, "We'll all hang out, but you own the factory now. Your family can come live here." And then, yeah. So then that's it. The movie ends with them going up in the sky in the flying glass elevator, and assumedly Charlie lives happily ever after.
Yeah. So I guess we're ready to jump into the first segment.
Yeah, we call it "Love It or Leave It." And this is this part of the show where we basically decide what we're going to keep and what we're going to get rid of from the original source material. Now, what do you love, Frank?
So,
in the movie,
I love naughty children getting what they deserve. Big fan.
Big fan.
I like the entire factory experience.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of these, like, super inefficient, possibly magical machinations by which a Wonka bar comes out the other end.
Yeah,
I like the exploration factor as well, where the child would just be like, "I'm gonna go over here and look at this now."
Yeah,
and like just some part of the factory.
Well, yeah, and the factory is kind of like there's one room that's like a magical like mushroom land forest, like the chocolate flows in a river. There's like trees and shit. Like it's a whole ecosystem inside this building. It's like almost a biodome in this one area. So naughty kids getting what they deserve. I also like when those naughty kids get what they deserve, they are sung a condescending song by small orange men with green hair, the Oompa Loompas.
The Oompa Loompas, who we're not going to get really into this, but I do just want to say they're slaves, right?
I think there's like Willy says
they don't get
like
paid. They live in the factory. Right. They never leave.
And Willy like justifies it in the worst like white man slaver way, where he's like, it's better than where they used to live. Like
it's like ugh.
It's pretty awful.
They are creative with the songs, and they do appear to enjoy meting out the kind of appropriate punishment.
Yes, and I assume they're freestyling those songs too, which is impressive.
I mean, they didn't. How could they have time to prepare?
Right. Otherwise they're preparing. All right. Okay. So like, what happens if a kid falls in the chocolate river and gets sucked up in a tube? Ready, go. And then they like brainstorm lyrics. All right. Now, what happens if a little girl falls down our furnace chute because she wants a golden egg?
Yeah. Like, how many songs did they not get to use?
Oh, I'm sure billions. Like I'm sure that writer's room has a funk. Do you think that
some of their songs they knew were better, and they tried to lure the children into like those punishments? Like, all right, the blueberry song is really good. So like,
make sure she choose. Let's make that blueberry thing. Make it into a gum. Yeah, make it into a gum. Yeah, because she loves gum. Like they're like, how can we get someone to turn into a blueberry? Well, we'll figure it out. But we're definitely doing blueberry. Chuck, stop suggesting strawberries. We're going with blueberries.
We're done. It doesn't rhyme with anything.
It's hard. No, we're not. There's nothing purple in this. Stop it. So I also like. Here's what I don't like. Any of the adults. I don't think. Well, except Willy.
Okay,
we keep Willy, but we don't need any of the adults.
This movie doesn't have a huge runtime, and I think a solid 20 minutes of it are just like bullshit about like the old people and the parents that don't matter. And then there's like all the bratty kids' parents is like, I don't really care about any of you.
No, I don't care about
what you're doing or what your deal is.
And I also here's what I don't like. I don't like that this factory. I don't like the
lack of government regulation.
Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to get at. Like nobody cares that these kids get like roughed up. Like their parents don't sue.
Now that would be an interesting sequel.
Just like Willy Wonka's getting sued.
Willy Wonka and the great workplace hazard lawsuit.
That would be very funny.
That's nothing.
Calling different witnesses to the stand. They bring in an Oompa Loompa. That might be a different sequel. Yeah. Okay, so the other thing that I like is kids getting eliminated. This specifically like
the survivor element.
Yes.
Both surviving and the Survivor TV show.
Yeah, alliances and whatnot.
Yeah. And then, sabotage.
Mm-hmm. Sabotage, alliances. Okay.
The tiki hut, where you talk about everyone.
Yeah, the confessional.
Yes. That's I always called it the tiki hut.
Yeah. Okay, so then what else? What don't we like? I mean, I like everything else. I like Willy Wonka. Love Gene Wilder.
I like the idea of this contained biomes that you meant. That we mentioned that when you enter the factory, it's like its own little world.
Yes. Oh, here's the other thing that I like, and I do want to maintain is obviously the mystery around the factory. Specifically, like no one goes in and no one comes out, but somehow it's making chocolate.
Yeah, and like chocolate's coming out of it.
Right. There is candy being wrapped. It's not just
more. That people who are apparently not being paid are picking it up to bring to stores.
Yeah, are the delivery guys getting paid or not? And also, it's not just candy is still coming out of this factory somehow. It's candy is being packaged, produced, and distributed to stores despite no one having any content.
And it's selling like hotcakes.
It's the most popular candy ever. Now, this was before the Snickers bar, arguably the best candy bar of all time.
Mark it. Pre-Snickers.
Now, do you have anything else for Love It or Leave It?
I think we've left everything we're going to leave, and we loved everything we're going to love.
All right. We're going to talk about setting and setting and genre in our next segment, When and Where. Where and when? Who knows? And this is, like I said...
we know. We're about to talk about it.
This is the part of the show where we establish, the new setting, the new genre, and the new world of our reboot. Now, what are you thinking, Frank?
All right. So, Do you remember that scene when they go into the tunnel and it's like awful and terrifying?
Yes,
and it's for some reason in the movie.
It's horrible.
All right, so I want to take the way that scene makes you feel and kind of stretch it into a kind of like horror tour of the factory.
Okay, I like that. I like the genre flip. I
think I want the kids to still be exploring this factory, but I want it to feel dangerous, right?
Yeah. So to that end, I want to make it modern day.
Big time.
And if we do modern day, then I think I want to get rid of the, like, it's not, I don't want it to be like a sanctioned tour anymore. I want it to be
like an urban break, like
five
they break
teens,
in and like, yeah,
5 teens, just like maybe it's like like a rite of passage, or like Charlie's the new kid. It's like hazing.
Yeah, or like the kids are like filming for like some YouTube video of like exploring abandoned factories.
Oh man, we can make fun of YouTubers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
and then it can be like found footage too.
Yeah, it's like a found footage. Oh. So they're all YouTubers, or maybe it's like one of them is, and it's like his friends, and he convinces them like.
Yeah, I think them being friends already makes it cleaner, because otherwise, like, how would he meet them?
Yeah, so here's what I've got. Here's what I want to... this is a YouTuber who is formerly successful, but now he's having such a hard time, like, producing that content that the people want. And he's
running out of things to urban explore.
He is hemorrhaging subsibers. And so then finally, like, as a desperate effort, he gets his 4 closest friends, or, like, acquaintances, and he's like, we're gonna break into the old Wonka factory, and they're all like, oh, that's gonna do it.
Oh, old man Wonka hasn't been seen in 20 years.
Not in 20 years
or more.
So then it becomes like, so yeah, I like the found footage. It's like creepy as fuck in there, like
everything's like shut down and like broken.
Yeah. And it is,
and then like
scary.
there are working parts that are still producing their step of the chocolate process.
Well, wait, it's broken down? Is it broken down?
No, it works, but it's creepy and dark.
Yeah, it is. Maybe one part of it is like the very first part they go into is like cool and normal, and they think it's just like, oh, this isn't so bad.
Yeah, and then they get trapped in the inner world.
And then they get further in, and it becomes terrifying.
I want it to be like a little Twilight Zone-y with the horror of like when they get into the factory, they're like in a kind of different world of the factory.
Yes. Yeah.
They like lose their cell phone signal and stuff.
Right. Yes, they have no cell phone signal, because if they did, then they could just like call for help.
Yeah.
But they can keep filming, of course.
There's Wi-Fi, yeah.
Well, you don't even have.
I guess you don't really need.
You don't need signal Wi-Fi to film. Okay, anything else for setting? We've got horror genre, found footage.
Yeah, found footage horror.
I think
that's a pretty. I think we're good.
Cool. So now we'll go into our next segment called Who Can It Be?
Who can it be now?
And this is where we decide on characters and casting. So first of all, Willy Wonka is in this movie somewhere.
Willy Wonka is in this movie somewhere, and then we're just gonna have the 4 kids. This is gonna be
5
a tight
kids.
cast.
Only 4 this time instead of 5. The original is 5.
We're just gonna have the 5 kids.
Okay. Now, the 5 kids are, so you got Charlie Bucket, Veruca Salt, not Salk like Jonas.
No.
Yeah, Salt.
It's like the food. Yeah.
So Veruca Salt is the spoiled rich girl. Augustus Gloop is the boy who is big.
He has large ass.
He's big. He likes to eat a lot. Violet Beauregard is obsessed with chewing gum, which we're going to need to...
Pretty thin for a character.
We're going to need to adapt these characters. We're going to need to update them a bit. And then Mike TV, who likes TV.
Oh, and we don't really need to change him much.
Yeah, but instead I'm going to call him...
Mike Netflix, right?
Mike Internet.
Okay, that's fine.
Mike... Yeah.
Mike Streaming.
Mike Memeing? Instead of being obsessed with TV, he's obsessed with memes.
He's obsessed with memes. Oh, and then he can be like so annoying and like say internet jokes out loud in real life.
Yeah. Okay. Charlie is good. I don't want Mike. Mike should be the streamer. I don't want Charlie to be the YouTube streamer. Mm-hmm. So Mike is the streamer.
Mike memes.
Mike memes.
Mike memes organized this. Wait. Hold on. Pause. Hard pause. Let's talk age. Let's talk age bracket.
Oh, they are teens.
They're teens, right?
They are like...
They're teens, but it's like 16, not 12.
Well, 12's not a teen, so yes, but it's... 12 is firmly a tween. But, yeah, we could do maybe like 19. Like, they could be that kind of teen. How about this? Charlie Bucket is home after his freshman year of college.
Oh.
To see and he sees like his old friend Mike Memes, who has...
Oh, this is like a reunion thing. They used to go urban exploring, but now Mike Memes is going to film it.
Yes, and so...
but it's secretly because of Mike Memes plummeting viewership.
Yes, and so accompanying them is Mike Memes' insufferable girlfriend, Veruca Salt.
Yes.
And then just other childhood friends, Augustus and Beauregard and Violet.
Yeah.
Like
and
Violet,
they've all changed since they've seen each other last, because it's been a while. It's been like 2 or 3 years, and they all kind of suck, and they don't want to fully admit it to each other.
Well, yeah, they're just all different. It's that feeling where like you go to college, you make new friends, and then you come home, and it's like, oh, I have other friends who don't know all these other friends that I have. Maybe one of these friends be like a college friend who comes home with Charlie to like hang out?
Oh, it used to just be... So back in the day, it used to just be the 4 of them, but then Charlie brings home his friend Augustus, the exchange student.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Because it's too expensive for Augustus to go back to Germany, and Charlie said, come on with me.
Okay, that works. I was going to suggest maybe it's like Charlie comes back home, it's the middle of the summer, Mike Memes is like, hey, I'm coming back to town to do a video. And then, so like Charlie has kind of like met his old friends over, so then he's got a college friend, Augustus Gloop, who's coming to visit him over the summer, and he's like, oh, hey, you want to come do this YouTube thing with us? Or he could be an exchange student. Either one is fine. Maybe, so then, Mike Memes brings his awful girlfriend from LA, because that's where Mike Memes lives now.
Oh, you know it.
And then
sick burn.
We'll say Violet Beauregard is a girl that Charlie like kind of knew in high school, but they didn't really ever hang out until like
yeah.
And then like they just like run into each other over the summer after he comes home, and they like start hanging out, and he's like, hey, you want to come? So we'll put in a little bit of a love interest.
Dude, fucking Charlie's just inviting everyone without even checking with Mike Memes.
Well, Mike doesn't care. Mike just wants the views.
Yeah, Mike just okay. Yeah.
Mike, so and we don't know right away that Mike is struggling. Like Mike is pretending like everything's going great, and so then
he's just throwing hundreds literally at the ground.
Yeah, his lifestyle is not sustainable. Okay, so then these 5 kids decide to sneak into they're gonna sneak into the Wonka factory. Charlie's unsure, but he's like, all right, this sounds whatever, it could be fun. And then there is, I think the only people we have to cast are them, Willy, and one guy.
Cameo for Grandpa Joe.
Sure. And then
one short cameo for Grandpa
Very
Joe.
Short, just like in passing.
Hey, Grandpa, I'm leaving. All right, take care of yourself.
Yeah, and then we just have to cast one Oompa Loompa, and then we'll just reuse him for all the Oompa Loompas.
Yeah. Or, Andy Serkis style. Nah.
Yeah, that did immediately, that was my reaction
We need a singer. We need someone with those pipes.
Josh Groban.
Oh my God.
I bet he'd do it.
I bet he would.
I bet he'd do it. I'm just gonna tweet at him right now and let him know we're working on this and see if he's interested.
Give him a heads up.
I'm just gonna. Here we go.
Just that soft, soulful Oompa Loompa music.
Yeah.
And then we can put out a Josh Groban Christmas album, but it's called Christmas in Wonkaland.
Yes.
Winter Wonkaland. That's the name of the album. Hold on a second. I'm gonna Josh Groban did a cover of Pure Imagination. This is perfect. This is already tied in. It's good. It's good. That's a pull.
All right. Tweet sent. Okay. So Josh Groban for the Loompas. We will CGI him to look small, like they did in the new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah. Or like the new Hobbits.
Yeah, except they're smaller than Hobbits, these Loompas.
They are smaller than Hobbits.
Smaller than Hobbits. An Oompa Loompa story.
An Oompa Loompa's tale.
Okay, so then let's talk do you want to cast the kids next, or
yeah? Let's do the kids.
All right, Charlie Bucket. I'm thinking.
Some sassy teens, right?
I was thinking. Well, Charlie's got to be. He's less sassy. I'm thinking
he's less sassy. He's a little more everyman.
Yeah, I'm thinking. You don't watch. I don't watch Game of Thrones either, but I know this kid is in Game of Thrones. Thomas Brody Sangster is who I'm thinking of here.
Sorry, hit me with that one more time.
Thomas Brody hyphen Sangster.
Oh my god!
I want this kid for Charlie. He is 27, but he's 27 going on 17.
God. No, he's not 27. He looks.
Yeah, he's 27 going on 17.
Oh my, that's good. And he's got that hair swoop. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
This is our Charlie. He's in I think he's in Maze Runner.
I want to just like slap him.
But like you also want to hug him. Like you want to protect him while you slap him and be like, "No, for real. This is how the world works."
I'm the only one that can slap him.
He was in The Force Awakens. I guess they call it a cameo. He's in a control room of a ship that gets blown up.
Oh, and he's the voice of Ferb in Phineas and Ferb. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right. Yeah, he's down. He's down to clown.
Yeah.
And so I think too we can easily adapt the horror movie character archetypes for each of these 5 kids. We can just so Charlie is the
audience surrogate everyman.
Yeah, he's the virgin, as if you will.
Mm-hmm. I will.
Then Violet Beauregard can be our nerd, the scholar, to put it in Cabin in the Woods terms. Who you think we should? Who are we looking at for Violet Beauregard?
I gotta pull up some reference material on this. What is her? She's the one that's obsessed with chewing gum, right?
Right. We also need to update her so she's
probably
not
gonna have to make that
gum.
like, I don't know, like a vape rig.
Oh, she vapes, but she's cool though because she's Charlie's love interest.
Yeah, but also she does vape incessantly.
What about Ariel Winter from Modern Family? She's the younger daughter in Modern Family.
Okay. Yeah, I could imagine her just ripping cotton.
Just ripping that cotton. Got those big cumulonimbus clouds.
Yeah, I want almost that we like there's scenes where we just don't see her face because of the thick vape clouds.
And so then that'll work because the vape rigs do have like fruit juices and stuff. The vape juice.
Yeah. This is still going to be a fruit theme.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Veruca Salt. So we need Augustus Gloop, Veruca Salt, and Mike TV himself.
Yeah, we need someone who's like biting.
For who?
For Veruca Salt.
Yes.
So my very first go-to would be Aubrey Plaza just playing April from Parks and Rec, right?
Yeah, but see, you like
But I want to stretch from there.
Yeah, I don't, we need to go further from there because here's the thing. I want Veruca to be entirely unlikable. April from Parks and Rec is incredibly likable.
Likably unlikable, yeah.
Who's good at playing
just people that
just bitches?
This is
tough, and part of it is tough because I'm not as hip to the teens. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone we've seen play bitches. It's just someone who we know has range.
Who we think has that range.
Let me throw some names at you. Zendaya. Daya? Zendaya?
I'd buy that. Yeah, I'd buy that.
As Veruca Salt? I think she'd have fun with it too.
Yeah. What's her what is her sin in the Wonkaverse? What does she do?
She's spoiled. She's like rich and spoiled.
Oh, I'd buy that no problem.
Yeah. Okay, Augustus Gloop, the eating disorder kid.
The kid that plays Gibby in iCarly.
I don't know any of those words.
Look up Noah Monk.
Gibby.
Munck.
Noah Munck,
and then just hit that images tab.
Oh hell yeah. 21. Yes. This is our Gloop.
This is Gloop.
This is our Gloop. He's young enough. Perfect. All right, and then lastly, went to Biola.
Mike Memes, the only name we've changed.
Mike Memes.
Not lastly, because we need to cast Wonka, but
I never want to give Logan Paul an opportunity to succeed, but I do want someone who can basically be Logan Paul.
God, that's gonna be tough because they'll have to film an entire movie without just getting socked in the mouth.
Who's the guy from How old? Ryan Hansen, I think is his name. How old is this guy? Because he's...
Are you talking from
Party Down?
Party Down, and
He's 36. Yeah. I think he's
36.
I think he's past... I don't know that he can play this young anymore.
Yeah, that's going to be
But
tough.
who boy, he's got the face.
He does. Ryan Hansen looks like is what I've just Googled, and nothing is helping me.
Who's got the most punchable face in teen Hollywood right now?
I'm just going to Google most punchable teen.
Teen actor. We want actors.
Most punchable teen actor.
Here's the 10 most punchable faces in Hollywood. Nicholas Hoult? No, I like him. He's Beast. That's Hank. That's Hank. Oh God, I can't remember Hank's last name. McCoy. Oh, something was wrong with me.
Let's get Dane DeHaan because I just want to sock him.
Oh, can Dane does he play young?
I don't know. Let's check.
I guess he could. He's still looking. He's got that weird, deepish voice.
He's 32 but 20.
Yeah, I think we could pull off Dane DeHaan.
Yeah, and he's got that like he's pale and just looks
that
like
works.
He's always up to something.
Yeah, and he can play.
And don't get me wrong, good actor,
but I think he could
good
play,
at making me want to just clock him.
I think he could play well. He could play guy who's forgotten where he came from because fame changed him.
Yeah, exactly.
Now all that's left is to cast the man himself, William
Wonkster.
MFGD Wonka.
I mean, how do you fill these shoes?
How do you fill these shoes?
Because here's the thing, Scott.
Yeah.
If I had to pick anyone that wasn't Gene Wilder to play Willy Wonka, it was gonna be Robin Williams and R.I.P.
Now, the six guys from Monty Python were apparently considered, but they weren't.
There could be opportunity there where every time Willy Wonka's on screen, he's one of the 6 members of Monty Python, but they rotate.
Could we just...
But he just has the clothes and the hat. Could we just not see him like Cloverfield?
What if we did this? What if we don't recast? What if we keep my boy Gene Wilder?
Hologram.
We CG him, but also I say we just reuse audio from the original movie for all of his lines.
Okay, just chop it up.
Do you think that would
save us
work?
A ton of
or
money.
do you think we could get a Gene Wilder voice
this has
actor?
a horror bent too. So we could take a dialogue from the movie, run it through like some auto-tune, and then run it through like a scratchy voice.
I think we could scrape together whatever audio we want.
It's allowed to be creepy, and it's going to sound creepy.
Yeah, okay.
But that's the point.
Yeah, I'm in.
No more Mr. Nice Wonka.
All right. That's casting. Let's take it home in our final segment. What's going on? This is where we hammer down this plot and just, figure out what's happening. So we've already established 5 teens sneaking into the old factory for a YouTube.
Mm-hmm. So they bust in.
Each of them is going to be eliminated one by one, as you do in a horror movie.
As you do.
So I think, when they first go in, everything's fine. And then
Mike Meme starts filming, and he says something like...
Everyone's filming, yeah.
Yeah, he says something like... I can't think... He says like a meme.
He says a meme. And
we'll put in meme slots, because when we're filming this in 18 months...
Yeah, you gotta be relevant with those memes.
Fresh memes.
You can't use memes from... They gotta be
he says a
days
meme
old.
Out loud, and no one laughs at it.
Yeah, he says pork chop sandwiches. Am I right, guys?
Yeah, and no one laughs.
No one laughs. But okay, so they go just different rooms, right? And they're like,
yeah. This is just.
But they at first it's kind of like a normal lobby, whatever. They can go into they can go through the room that gets tiny instead of, it's not like a long hallway. It just actually gets tiny at the end. And it's weird, and then they the door can disappear, and then it reappears, but it opens into a new room, which is the magical fairyland of
the inner Wonka world.
The inner Wonka world with the chocolate river. Now,
and they're just here now.
The factory has
the first sinner to fall is Augustus, right?
Yes, and so here's I want to just establish a shot here. The factory, given that we are updating this to modern day, the factory is also updated a bit. So there are like screens everywhere.
Yeah, like monitors and
I think when they
cameras and maybe some robo drones.
I think when they first enter that room, so that room in the original movie is where Willy Wonka sings the iconic Pure Imagination song. I think now when they enter that room, it's like a PA system like kind of clicks on and like a very
like a minor chord,
a very clearly old like worn down.
You really want this to feel BioShocky.
A little bit, actually. Yeah, I didn't even think that realize I was doing that, but kind of. I want it to feel like they're seeing like just for this room. I want it to feel like it's like an old system, like kind of like kicking back on, and so like the song sounds like old and grainy.
Into the past.
Yeah, and normally this would be like the song plays when the tour comes through. It's delightful, but now it's like so old it feels weird.
It's all whiny and wrong, and it's...
Now, Augustus is going to get drowned in the chocolate river.
He's going to die. Yeah, this is a horror movie.
How does he just go to the river? Because they're like, nobody touch anything, and he's like, I got to get me some of that chocolate.
Yeah. So the chocolate river's there, right? And this is... at this point, we're like some time into the film, I think, a little bit. They all break and start to eat. I don't know. They start to eat snacks. Whatever. This is snack time, right? Mm-hmm. And he gives Augustus a Cliff Bar, a peanut butter Cliff Bar.
Natch.
And Augustus is like, no, there's a chocolate river over there, and I will be partaking. And they're all like, dude, I wouldn't. You don't know how old that chocolate is. And he's like, I'm gonna drink it. I'm getting in there. So he's drinking at the river, and he just dunks his head in because he's not wise. Mm-hmm. And something grabs him, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe they're kind of all like sitting by the river, and then he's like,
oh no.
Well, I think maybe you get one of those. Well, I guess we can't do this shot because it's all found footage. So maybe you just like. Suddenly he gets, like, he at one point turns and says, like, did you guys hear something? And they're all like, no. And he's like, oh, okay, never mind. And then he just gets, like, whoever's camera we're looking from at this point, like, isn't looking at him. And then you just hear, like, a splash. And then they turn and they're like, what the hell? Gus, did you fall in? And he's like, at first maybe he's fine. And he's just like, yeah, I guess I tripped. This chocolate's really good. And then suddenly he just, like, goes under.
Oh, and there's like, and he's like, oh, and they're like, oh shit, and then like they all drop their cameras and like run, and like we're not really sure what happens, right? In the infuriating way that found footage does.
I think yes, in the infuriating. So you just hear people screaming like, grab him! I can't! Something's holding him! How to like get him out? And then like somebody finally picks up their phone and somebody screams, and we just see like maybe either silhouetted or just like covered in chocolate so that they basically look silhouetted, like 4 or 5 like very small humanoid figures just kind of like standing in the river just looking at them. And then you hear like an incredibly ominous Loompa song.
Yeah.
And like then they run.
An Oompa dirge almost.
Yeah, like it's just like stationary small figures just like staring at them.
Have eaten the chocolate.
Yeah, exactly.
But it'll be good and better, and we'll have Josh Groban.
So then here's what I want to do. That the Oompa Loompas show up suddenly. A door at the far end, like a light pops on, like a green light pops on above a door at the far end of the wall or whatever, and maybe one of the screens pops on, and you just hear like a voice that says like "through here, quick."
Oh, like it's trying to help.
Yeah. So then they're gonna get through.
Wonka's trying to help them live.
Right. So they won't realize it's Wonka at first, but we'll know it's Wonka.
Yeah, we know it's Wonka.
So they go through the door, and so the next person who gets it,
and they're like, oh, I can't. We have no signal. There's no 911 because we got to get that out of the way.
Yes. The whole time, Veruca is just being a bitch. She's complaining, and she's like, how do we get out? This is terrible. My hair. And so I think next is Violet.
Yeah, the next sinner is Violet.
So Violet's always vaping. They're in just
vaping. So instead of special chewing gum, this is going to be special vape juice.
Yeah. So they go into like another room and they find out that like the Wonka fact, and also like so that once they get into this next room, it is no longer like magical fairyland. It is like factory, but like like scary factory. There's like tubes going everywhere. Like it almost looks
goop
like
in places. Like there's ooze and sludge,
but it's all like functioning still. It's just gross.
Yeah, and it's like mutated almost.
Yes. So then. I'm thinking.
So Violet finds. So in the original, Violet chews
the new
chewing gum that contains an entire 3-course meal. So there's vape juice, and I think they don't even know what it does. Right? There's no one giving them the tour.
She's just stoked because she sees that like, oh man, they're making vape juice now. I'm gonna try this before anybody else gets to. And then she inflates like a blueberry.
Yeah, and then she goes, it's like the most strongest blueberry vape juice that I've ever had.
Yeah.
And she starts just stuffing vials in her pockets. But then she goes, oh no, my hand's stuck in my pocket because it became giant. And then it's like, oh god, oh no. And then I think she just explodes, right?
Well,
and she just sprays them with gore.
I don't want that, and I will tell you why. Well, I don't want us to see her die.
Okay.
I think maybe she just maybe she doesn't inflate. Maybe she just turns blue and seems to I don't know.
And she's fine for a little bit. She's like, oh, this sucks.
Maybe it's not even a little bit. It's just she turns blue and vomits juice and blueberry juice. And then she just maybe she collapses and then suddenly they see, okay, yeah, maybe she's getting weaker and weaker because she's becoming a blueberry. So she's fine at first, and then
yeah, and then they're walking around, and she's like, "Hold on, guys, I need a break."
And then they get far enough, and then suddenly they,
oh no,
yes,
oh no, and then they just look back, and back in the hallway there's not a person, there's just a pile of blueberries.
Oh, I was gonna say they're walking, and they just they hear the just ominously Loompa song start playing again, and then. They look behind them, and there's several tiny figures just staring at them from different perches on scenery and stuff.
And then Josh Groban does his bit.
So they hear the song, and I think they all just start running because they recognize them. And then she is going slower because she's all weak and gross.
Yeah. And then she hits the ground hard, and then just starts rolling.
Yeah.
And then they look back and they're like, "Oh my God, where's Violet?" And because all they see is a giant blueberry rolling towards them, and Temple of Doom.
I was gonna say they just she kind of it's she gets grabbed and they basically have to leave her behind and they run away and we don't see her again.
But then rolling down the hallway is a bunch of blueberries.
A bunch of blueberries do roll down the hallway for sure.
Yeah, we need to have blueberries in some form.
The Wonka voice comes on again. Oh, they found you.
You have to leave your friends. This is about survival now.
So then I think in the next room he says, you guys need to stop touching things. That's how they keep finding
I love that
you.
we have to, in the original movie, find all the times he says those words and then string them together.
Yes, that's what we'll have to do.
Some of these sentences are going to be extremely odd.
We're going to be cutting
the way you would normally say them.
And that'll be fine because he sounds like a weird computer guy almost. And we're going
to say you need to tour next room.
Yeah, well, we're also going to we're going to have to cut in the middle of words and stuff to form new words.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll say, stop touching things. That's how they find you, because once you get the candy in you, they can find you.
Mm-hmm. They track you. They're from... what is the name of
Loompa Land.
Loompa Land.
Yeah, he explains,
in Loompa Land, they eat your bones and your soul, and that's why I'm trapped in here.
Yeah, he says, they've trapped me here. I'm trying to escape too. We can help each other. So now they know, don't touch anything.
You need to find me in the control room.
Yes. So now yes. So now they know don't touch anything. I think so. The next room they get into is where in the original movie it's geese that lay golden eggs. It'll be a room with
which is not a candy. Can we discuss this?
Well, I think they're chocolate eggs, but some of them are. It's sometimes the geese lay golden eggs and sometimes they lay chocolate ones, and the golden ones are just thrown in the furnace because they're not valuable to Wonka or something.
Something clever.
Yeah, I forget what it is. But I
don't need money because I have joy.
So there's a lot of I think we can just keep the golden geese, but the geese look like they're unhappy. Clearly, they're terrible animal conditions.
Who's feeding them? The Loompas.
They've just got tubes stuck on their mouths that just pipe shit in.
That's grim.
Yeah. So then they're laying the eggs, and they ask Wonka, what the hell is this? He explains, and then we just see Veruca be man, golden egg would be nice, or something. And then
she's shoulder deep into the goose cages, just trying to get a golden egg.
I was gonna say they leave the room. she seemingly does. They just leave the room, and then 2 rooms later, the Loompa song starts happening, and they're all like, what the hell? Who touched something? And they're all like, nothing. And then they look back at her, and she's got like 3 eggs in her pocket.
Oh, because that's how they find her.
Yeah, she couldn't resist. So then suddenly, like, I don't know, they like surround her, I guess, and she just gets taken. Like, they run, it's scary, and then she gets grabbed.
Like Liam Neeson is there, and she just gets taken.
Yeah.
She's just gone. And then there's
maybe like a goose rig, like all the tubes and stuff just like snake out of nowhere and like fasten over her face and stuff.
And like Smart House, they just get her.
Yeah.
And then Josh Groban gets his song.
Yep. He gets his new song.
We haven't forgotten a Josh Groban song, right? No, we're good.
So then Mike and...
So now it's just Mike and Charlie.
They run away. And then this is when they end up in what in the old movie was the TV room where they like... He transports things over TV, where he'll like teleport things into a TV movie, I guess is how it works. And like that's how they make the Wonka bars small, I think, in the original movie. Like they make them huge and then he sends them over TV so that they appear inside a TV show, and then he just pulls them out and they're small. But so I think what we do is
like that Matt Damon movie that just came out.
Yeah, like that. I think so. Do we keep it
like Downsizing with Matt Damon?
Is it still TV or is it like internet now?
Yeah, it's internet now. And there's a giant cable modem.
And Mike is into it. So this is when Wonka reveals, like, I had updated this to work with internet, and I was trying to escape, but they stopped me.
They took the internet away from me.
They interrupted me.
And then Mike Meme says, like, that is worse than hell for me, is not having internet.
Well, and I think what we realize is, I think this is the point where the audience learns. So Wonka explains, like, they interrupted the connection when I was being transferred out. And so then we reveal Wonka is, like, in the factory. He is the factory now. Like, his mind left his body, and he's now, like, stuck running the factory because they stopped him, and now he's, like, stuck there. So he's like...
that's why it's been working the whole time.
So then he says, it's too late for me, but... I can help you escape. And he kind of maybe starts like walking them through how to get it working. And then I think Mike just gets he over anxious, or like he decides like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And he just like abandons Charlie maybe.
Oh,
maybe the Oompa Loompas start like banging, like trying to get in.
I can't. It hasn't been this long since I've ever checked Twitter. I need to go.
Yeah, I think maybe it's like the instant he thinks it's ready to be used, he just hops in and it's going to go bad, of course. And Charlie's like, dude, what the hell? And he's like, nope, this is good enough. Maybe it's like the Oompa Loompas are trying to get in and he just panics and he's like, it's good enough, let's go. And Charlie's like, we didn't do all the things.
And he hits the button. He goes, fine, I'll leave without you. And he hits the button.
And then he gets sent in, and then he's just like stuck inside a meme for the rest of his life.
Yeah, he's forever surfing on a sea of pixels with sunglasses. I was making a joke about like 90s textbooks about surfing the internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe he just gets like exploded or something.
He gets trapped forever in Adam Sandler's Pixels. As a pixel.
He's just like a pop-up ad now.
Forever. And here's the thing. If once somebody believes him and clicks OK, he'll be free, but no one ever will.
Now, I want Mike Memes has got to die. Like, he's dead. But he gets like...
he turns into pixels and then his body just floats apart.
He just screams and it floats apart, and Willy's like, it wasn't ready yet. And then he like tells him, do these last few things.
He screams a meme.
He's like, do these last few things. And yeah, he screams a meme. He says like, what are those?
Yeah.
So maybe like the Loompas are getting in, and Wonka's like, all right, that's good enough. Like, it's ready. Quick, come into the control room. There's another like transport terminal. So then... Charlie goes in there and he sees like just like wires and shit everywhere. I think I want to say too, I should have said this earlier. I really wanted the visual of like a silhouetted Wonka in a top hat. That probably happened near the beginning of the movie, just like in the background of someone's footage.
Yeah.
But
and then he like moves behind some furniture.
Yeah. So this is you actually just see him like crouch behind furniture. But so now is he like, what is the control room? Is it like,
it's like this like old man body that's hooked up to a bunch of wires.
Yeah,
and then there's like TVs. There's like multiple TVs around the body, And he's like, "You found Charlie. You found my secret. You need to help me be free."
Well, yeah, I think he says like, Charlie says like, "I thought you said that you didn't have a body," and like he says like, I thought you said you got your body, your mind got out of your body, and they trapped you in the factory." And he's like, so to speak, or whatever. And then he says like
they did, because that's not me anymore.
He's like, my mind is in that body, but it is fully integrated with the factory, and I cannot leave.
So that's why I need...
He says, that's why I need your body. And then a bunch of wires like snake out and grab Charlie. And he says like, he's gonna say, like, no. He's gonna say like, congratulations, my boy, you won. I've been looking for someone to succeed me. And Charlie's like, what do you mean? He's like, my body can't leave, but yours can. And Charlie's like, no. So then all these wires come down.
He drops the camera while they struggle, and so we don't know the outcome.
I think we do know the outcome. I think the camera is like... But
I think it's creepier if we don't know the outcome, and then we get like another final shot.
Well, here's what I want. You tell me if you like this idea. I think the camera gets dropped, and it's now like at an askew angle, seeing Charlie like floating up in the sky, up like being grabbed by wires, and then like you see Wonka across from him in the old man body, and then you hear like a raspy computer voice say like, "So shines a good deed in a weary world," and then like some sort of special effect to indicate there's like a data transfer going from the wires into Charlie.
Just and like a bunch
then
of streams.
Here's what I want. This is why I didn't want us to see Violet die. We see suddenly like a giant candy cane that's been like sucked into a spear. You know how you can do with candy canes? Just like pop out of his chest, and Violet like steps out, and it turns out she survived, but she looks all like, she's still blue, but she just looks like battle damaged, like she's hardcore. And so then she stabs him, and she's like,
"Who's blue now?"
Something about candy, you son of a bitch. Like,
how's that for a sweet tooth?
That's pretty good. She jams it into his mouth.
Yeah.
That's good. So then she frees Charlie, and so at this point we've seen. So then she and Charlie like
limp out of the factory.
They somehow get out because maybe the factory like is about to explode because now it doesn't have the Wonka AI.
Yeah, all the steam pipes are going to overload, and there's nothing to vent the radioactive gas.
So then we can hear her just say, like, conveniently, she'll be like, "I found a way out, come on." And then we just see, like, Charlie run up to his phone and grab it, and then it cuts. Maybe we see, like, interspersed cuts of them, like, running through hallways and stuff.
Yeah, of them, like, going through the woods, like, "Do you have any signal?" Like, "No."
Yeah. Yep. So then...
you're still blue? Yeah.
So then the next scene will be just, like, them FaceTiming, and it's, like, 6 months later or something, and she's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, whatever." Like, or she's like, "How's sophomore year?" And he's like, "It's great. How's working at the grocery store? Or how's your new business?" Or whatever.
Yeah, how's your being a blue person going?
Yeah, she's still blue. And she says like, "The nightmares are getting better," and he's like, "Yeah, it's They're
never going to go away."
Yeah, they like say something that indicates they've got this shared bond. They are now dating, and they remember what happened. So then Charlie says like, you hear him. He says like, he either says like, "Oh, my laundry's done," or "Oh, gotta go huck a bee with the guys." Like he's got to leave for some reason.
Yeah, what was that?
Huck a bee. That's what the bros call it when you throw a frisbee. You're hucking the bee.
Okay.
So first of all, do you like my Violet thing, or do you want us to see like no one?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. So then like we're still like in his computer camera after the call ends. Like for some reason his computer camera is still on.
Yeah. There's like one because we it's the outside shot.
Yes. So then or maybe like his phone camera turns on and we're like from the perspective of his desk, and as he's like. We hear him just like moving around his room, and he starts humming Pure Imagination.
Oh yeah.
Or
and then you're like.
So I have two endings in mind. Either Charlie's humming Pure Imagination.
Each theater gets one.
Or we see his phone screen turn on, and then like an eerie computer humming of Pure Imagination comes out, and we find out like Wonka transferred himself into Charlie's smartphone via the local network, and it was now able to leave the factory.
Let's Paranormal Activity it, and different theaters get different endings.
Perfect. I like it. And it's just like,
Like, which one did you see?
And it's like, doop, and then it ends, and everybody's like, oh.
Shoot. And it's like a TV.
Yeah, the TV turns off.
Yeah.
And it flickers.
Even though it was a film camera.
It flickers and whatnot. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else?
Yeah. And then Josh Groban does the closing credits.
Josh Groban does the closing credits.
I mean, if we got him, we're gonna wring it out of him.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a movie. That's a movie. We did it.
Cut it. Print it.
Oh yeah, we used to do that. Thank you everybody so much for listening. If you like the show, please give us a rating and review on iTunes. It helps us out a ton. And you can also find us on Spotify if you want. You can basically subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, but iTunes reviews are still frustratingly the ones that matter the most. If you know anybody who you think would like the show, please share it. We don't advertise at all, and so word of mouth is the best way to spread it around. You can find us on Twitter at Rebootleggers, so if you've got any reboot ideas that you would like us to try, tweet them at us, and we'll definitely mention you in some capacity. Until next time, I'm Scott Owen.
I'm Frank Sarah.
And Frank, what's our password for next week?
Let's see. Next week will be Scrumdiddlyumptious.